Hello. I am hoping to get my SummerSlam predictions out today. We're one day away tomorrow. SummerSlam, the big show, the second big show. We have a very interesting card this time. I feel like it's very stacked. I think it's easily the most unpredictable card we've had in a long time. I think almost every single pay-per-view we've had this year, I've kind of been able to get at least every match maybe minus one, and usually the ones I didn't get were like small things that were whatever. But this time, I don't know. Almost every match feels like it could go either way, in my opinion. Although, definitely not every match. And I think the most exemplary of something that breaks that sort of idea is this one. I don't see a way in which Logan Paul wins this. Seriously, listen. LA Knight is kind of almost a cursed wrestler in my opinion. Everyone knows he's good at talking, but sometimes it's a little scary. I think we saw it most when some time ago they brought Carmelo Hayes up and they had him do some promos with LA Knight. And every single time it was like, this is embarrassing. It's hard to watch. Why are they making Carmelo Hayes go through this? LA Knight is burying him simply by talking. I genuinely thought that, like, they need to be careful or they can completely bury Carmelo Hayes by putting him in the proximity of LA Knight. It happens. And I kind of feel like that's been happening with Logan Paul recently. Like, I've liked Logan Paul generally in terms of wrestling. Not in terms of anything else. But in terms of wrestling, I think he's usually pretty good. And then LA Knight comes out and starts talking and I'm like, oh yeah, you're right. He does never show up. Do we really want this guy as our champion? Not even in like a heel way, but in like this guy, really? Do we need any more of Logan Paul as US champion? He's kind of growing old in my opinion. Also, I do think it would be good to have a full-time wrestler have the title. Genuinely, I do feel like the US championship has become an afterthought because, I mean, how often do we see it defend it, right? Very, very, very... maybe at pay-per-views, but rarely do we see it on TV. I think we've seen, one Logan Paul match on TV in the last 6 months, and it was against The Miz. I'm trying to think. There might be more, but really, I think it's time. LA Knight deserves this. Hell, I think he could have won Money in the Bank, and I think he would have been a great contender for, the upper echelons of titles. If he doesn't win this, I don't know what they're thinking. Genuinely. Not to mention, with recent news, Logan Paul has kind of been embarrassing himself in public, which does not look good for the company. But I'll try to keep it to the wrestling here. I think Logan Paul is good in the ring. I think it's kind of getting tired. Interference and he wins every single time. We've seen it. I think we've seen enough. I wouldn't say it's a bad run. I think he's done good with the championship, but I think it's time to drop it, and I don't think there's anyone more deserving than LA Knight. Genuinely. Alright. So yeah. I think LA Knight wins this 100%. I think it's clear. I don't see another way that this goes. Next up, Sammy versus Braun. Now, I was mistaken. I believed that this was Sammy versus Braun versus Ilya. And then, this week on Raw, Ilya was nowhere to be found. And I'm like, wasn't he a part of this match? But I guess he was just part of the build-up and shrug. He's not in it. Just a friend to Sammy or whatever. And, obviously him and Breaker have some history. Money in the Bank, I was 100%. I was totally on Sammy. Listen, most people are like, nah, he's losing. But I stuck with Sammy, and I was right. He did win. This time, I'm a lot less sure. I want Sammy to win. I like Sammy. I think he's been doing a great job as Intercontinental Champion. I kind of like how he's turned it into like this wrestlers championship, right? He's going out there and he's finding the best of the best to be contenders against him. It's not about, ooh, I have my championship, I want to hold on to it, or ooh, I have my championship, I'm the best. This is the wrestlers championship, and I want to find whoever it is that deserves to get this next, right? He's been actively looking for good opponents. And then Braun Breaker comes in and starts blowing everything up. I've liked this build-up. Braun is amazing. He's, I believe, as his uncle once said, he's a genetic freak. I don't know how this man moves the way he does, but he does. Man, I really don't know on this one. I could really see it going either way. If anything, I think Braun probably has a bigger chance to win. It's a rematch. I don't see why they would put Braun in a position to lose twice, especially when he's so hot right now. Him losing once I think it's fine. Some people thought it killed momentum, but it was against Sami Zayn, and it was a really good match. He has to lose eventually. You don't want people who win every single match every single time forever and forever and forever. It gets boring. Ugh. Losing twice in a row to the same person might be a different story. I think this will lead to more interesting things down the road. I want to say Sami will win. I'm going to be rooting for Sami, but I don't know. I feel like Braun takes this one. And you know what? He's new, but he hasn't talked that much up until this Monday night, right? And this Monday night, they gave him a microphone. And, a lot of time you get guys who they're either really good in the ring or really good on the microphone and only okay in the other way, right? Like, Ricochet's a once-in-a-lifetime athlete, but can I really say I remember anything he said on the mic? Did they even give him a mic ever? Not really. Braun, in that promo, it was good. Again, I don't want him to win. I want Sami to win, but I think Braun will do just as good a job with this title as anyone else. I've been so impressed with Braun. Who isn't? So yeah, I'm gonna put my money on Braun, but I'll be rooting for Sami. All right, next one. Ooh, this one's a lot bigger than the other ones. Either way, sorry. Let me zoom out a little bit. Filter. Sorry. You know what? Why don't we come back to this one? Yeah, the other ones are all small. I'll come back to that one. All right. Bayley versus Nia Jax. I don't have much to say on this one. I think this one is a bit more predictable than some of the other ones. I think Bayley's going to win. I think the real story is more so about Tiffy. Will Tiffy cash in is the question. Now, don't get me wrong. Nia Jax is good. I think she would be a good champion. I could honestly see them putting the championship on her. Obviously, the big question here, though, I think everyone has on their mind is Tiffany Stratton going to cash in and take the belt from, whoever wins the match? It's a tough call. I'm a huge fan of Tiffy. She's great. She's an amazing wrestler. She's athletic. She is just detestable as a heel. I like almost everything about her, but is it time yet? This is a big title, and she is new. I know it doesn't seem like it with how she wrestles, but she hasn't been on the main roster a long time. And giving her, either the biggest or the second biggest women's title in the entire company this early, I don't know. I think it would be interesting. Man, I really don't know. Also, we've already seen the men lose their briefcase. So, Are they going to get rid of the briefcase? You know, have that little bit of chaos going around with the person who has the briefcase. They can come in at any moment. I don't know. This one's really tough. Although, really, I'm predicting the winner of the match. I say Bayley. I think it's Bayley. Will Tiffy take the title from her? Here's what I'm going to say. I don't know if Tiffy is going to cash in. But if Tiffy cashes in, I hope she doesn't lose. I think that would be a very... I don't think that would go very well. I think that would be boring. I like Bayley. I don't know if she's been the most interesting title holder. She's kind of doing what Sammy... Not really. Her matches have been good. I'll put it there. Storylines have been okay. I think she's been... You know what? I think this is a good time for titles to change hands because I feel like Bayley's done a great job with it. And I worry that if she keeps it longer, I don't know. She needs some juice, right? I think she's going to need some more juice going forward. So I think having Tiffy win it, and then you can have a couple matches there with her and Tiffy one-on-one. I think that would be super fun. You could still involve Nia Jax in those, and that would be interesting. You know what? I'm going to say Tiffy cashes in and takes the title. I don't think she'll hold it for very long, but I think that would be probably the best way to resolve that. So my money's on Bayley beating Nia, and then Tiffy cashing in and beating Bayley. All right, next one. This one's big too. Okay, I'll save this one for later then as well. All right. Next up, we got Gunther versus Damian Priest. Ugh, I hate this. I think Gunther's going to win. Yeah, I don't know. I don't have too much to say about this one. I don't think it's as set in stone as just Gunther wins. It's a, clear shot, but Gunther is booked so strong. He never loses. He's lost, like one match ever? And Damian Priest has his own shit going on, right? I mean, we know that the Judgment Day is literally about to implode on itself. I think, Finn Balor's been looking like he's going to betray Damian Priest. Dom's in a weird spot here. JD McDonough is probably more, what's the word? More allegiant, more loyal to Finn than anyone. They're always putting it out on commentary. Oh, Finn trained JD. So I don't think it's going to be a clean win. I think there's going to be some shenanigans here. I think shenanigans will happen. I think this is the Judgment Day implodes. I've been feeling like they were going to implode constantly, and they still haven't, so I very well could be proven wrong. That all being said, I think Damian has done an amazing job as champion. I've been loving his matches. Obviously, there have been some unfortunate incidents. I don't really think they're his fault. I think he gets too much heat for that. All I have to say is I can see it going either way. I think Gunther has the better chance of winning. If Damian wins, hats off to him because, again, I think he's been doing a great job. I like him as champion. And I think he's done a good job with it. I'll be rooting for him. I'm just thinking about if I wanted to say anything else about this. I really like the build-up. I like Damian Priest as a face, too. He does it well. I think he's good as a face. I hope he wins. I don't know if it's going to happen. All right. Next up, what I assume is the main event, because it usually is. And then we'll get to the other two. I should have probably done this one last, but I don't want to mess around with stuff. Cody Rhodes versus Solo. Oh, I've loved the Bloodline. I've loved the new Bloodline so much. They lost the plot. At the beginning, they were great. They got really, really bad for a little bit where they were like losing all their matches and they looked like chumps and they had absolutely nothing going for them. I don't know what happened. They started off so strong, they got lost in the middle, and then they brought Jacob Fatu in, and oh my god. Is there anyone who does it better than Jacob Fatu? I'm asking a genuine question, dude. He looks the way he does, which is like a complete monster. He's huge, and he's also able to do the fucking moonsault that Tiffy does. And I always praise her, like, wow, that's an impressive thing to do the rope jumping and then the backflip, like, seamlessly. And he does it easily. He doesn't even question it. Everything he does is insane. He's almost like a Braun Breaker to me. Like, it's unbelievable that he's just this good, especially at the size that he's at. And he's even bigger than Breaker, or at least it feels like it. They've been booking him exactly how they should be booking him. He's a monster. He no-sells Randy Orton. I love that. He's been amazing. I love him. I can't wait to see more of him. I think Solo has been doing a good job being this like mob boss type of guy. He's changed the outfit, put gloves on, the suit. It looks great on him. I think Solo's doing awesome. I love this new Bloodline. I think it's great. That being said, personally, I know this is crazy, but personally, I think Solo actually has a chance here. I don't think he has a big chance. I think it's more likely that Cody wins, as Cody has been winning a lot. But he's also been getting beat up. But, you know, I don't think Cody's going to lose the belt. I think it would be cool if he did, because let's be honest here for a second. The real story here is Roman. Where does he factor into all of this? He's disappeared. And you know what I would want to see at next WrestleMania? I would love to see babyface Roman versus champion Solo Sikoa with the Bloodline. Roman Reigns comes back, this triumphant, you know, a hero in the eyes of people now as he gracefully took his last loss, and he can't believe what Solo has done in his absence, the disrespect Solo put on his name. I think Solo winning here at SummerSlam, doing his own little reign of terror where he's, you know, being this ruthless mob boss character, and Roman Reigns comes back to save the day. That's a long ways away, but, you know. Do I think Roman holds a part in this match? I think it's pretty likely. Like, I don't think they're going to wait all the way to WrestleMania to bring him back. And, like, it's SummerSlam. It's the second biggest pay-per-view of the year. If there was literally ever a time for Roman Reigns to come back, it would be at this match. Do I think he's going to interfere? No. I don't think so. I think, if anything, if there is going to be, you know, quote-unquote interference by Roman Reigns, I think it'll be him walking out, and then, you know, Solo looks at him like, oh my god, Roman's back, and then Cody takes the chance to knock him down. Something like that, you know, and that gives Cody the win. More likely, he'll probably walk out after the match and stare down whoever wins. Or maybe, you know, all of the Bloodline jump Cody after Solo loses, and then Roman comes in and saves Cody. That would be interesting. Could you imagine the horrible dark universe where Roman comes and interferes on Solo's behalf? That's not going to happen, but that would be really funny. I think Cody wins this. I would love to see Solo win this. I think it would be a good story, but I don't think they're going to spend 6 months building Solo versus Roman, at least not in this way. If the ultimate WrestleMania we're looking at is going to be Solo versus Roman and Cody versus Rock, which I don't want The Rock to have anything to do with next WrestleMania, but that's probably what they're gonna do. I think that Cody needs to win here, which is a shame. I've really been liking the Bloodline. I think this will be their biggest test. They've flopped back and forth between good and bad. I think if they put on a really, really, really good match against Cody, then I think at the very least that should solidify them as a force, because they've kind of felt like an afterthought. I mean, this is supposed to be the Bloodline. You know, Roman Reigns was champion for a billion years, and it kind of feels like the Bloodline has just been goofing around, messing with unimportant people. Like, they had a bunch of matches with the Street Profits, and I love the Street Profits, don't get me wrong, but like, the Street Profits aren't top tier guys, and the Street Profits were trouncing them. Like, they're supposed to be a big deal. They're supposed to be kicking the ass of, you know, Randy Orton and Kevin Owens and maybe even, and now Cody Rhodes, and they have been. But there was that time in the middle where they were just floundering. I didn't like that. My vote's on Cody. I like Solo for this too. I think he's good. I would be happy if either one of them won. I think this will be a great match, but I'm putting my money on Cody. All right. Last two matches. All right. Rhea Ripley versus Liv Morgan. I can't believe I'm going to say this, but I'm pretty sure Liv Morgan's going to win. Right? Like, I think there's going to be some shenanigans, probably involving Dom, and I think Liv's going to win. It just makes sense, right? I mean, this has been a good storyline. It's been interesting. Liv has shown that while she usually gets out wrestled, she's usually resourceful enough to sneak in wins, usually with the help of Dom by accident. I hope they don't do Dom by accident again, because they've done it like 4 times. I'm exaggerating, it was more like 3. But I don't know, we've seen that already. I hope there's some other sort of shenanigans that help her win. I don't know what those will be. I mean, for all we know, Dom can turn his back on Rhea. I don't think he will, but I think it would be interesting if he did. I honestly think it would be a good story, like, you know, Rhea's been being a jerk to him, which deservedly maybe deservedly maybe. It certainly seems bad what Dom's been doing, but I think there's going to be shenanigans, and I think Liv is going to get the win here, and I think Rhea is going to be furious, and she might kill Dom. Like, you know that classic moment where they hung, who was it? They used the Hell in the Cell to hang, the Big Boss Man? They're going to do that to Dom. I don't actually think that, but I'm pretty set on Liv winning. I think it'll be a good match. I think it'll make the storyline even crazier going forward, and I think later down the line there's going to be an absolutely violent confrontation between Rhea and Liv, like a huge blow off, you know. Maybe Hell in a Cell I think would be a great time for that. Just have them slam each other into the walls and stuff. Really go at it. I think that'd be great. But I'm putting my money on Liv here. I think for the storyline and with everything that's going on, I think it's a similar situation to the Damian Priest match. There's too much going on in the Judgment Day. I think there's going to be a big upheaval, and I think it's going to completely turn the Judgment Day on its head. And I think that means that through some chicanery, some tomfoolery, some monkey business, I think Liv Morgan's gonna win. And one last match for the night. CM Punk, Drew McIntyre with Seth Rollins. I almost said Rollin Reigns, which I don't believe is a real wrestler as of this point. Perhaps some sort of yaoi baby, but Let's not get into that. Seth Rollins is guest referee. You don't have a guest referee unless the guest referee is going to, play a part in the match. Seth Rollins is obviously going to factor in here. This is the hardest match of the night to call easily. First of all, I think either one of these guys could win. And no matter what way it goes, I think it would be a good outcome. We're in this really interesting spot where, to me personally, I've been watching this and, does Drew McIntyre really come off as the heel? Yeah, he does some heelish things, especially with the bracelet, but it's at what point does ruining every single match a guy is in not begin to feel like that guy's the bad guy? CM Punk is coming off as petty and vindictive, and I get it, Drew injured him and he's been out for a long time, so yeah, you hate that guy, but also it's it's nonstop. Drew has lost every single match that he's done almost anything in because of CM Punk. Drew lost in his hometown because of Punk, home country, I should say. He lost his chance to be champion twice when he had it in the bag because of CM Punk. He's constantly getting matches ruined by CM Punk. You start to feel bad for him. I don't know. I almost feel like Punk is the heel in this case and Drew is the face. They're both just really, really, really on a fine line here. That being said, I really don't know how this goes down. It's so tough to call. Personally, I want Drew to win. It's starting to feel bad watching him lose match after match after match after match after match after match because of CM Punk. If he loses again at the second biggest pay-per-view of the year after what happened at, even going all the way back to WrestleMania, it's geez, guys, give him a break. Yeesh. I'm curious to see where we go with CM Punk. It's kind of been tough with him. He has not been wrestling, and I know that's not his fault. Like I said, he comes off as more than a heel. I'm from Chicago, and they got me rooting against CM Punk. But, it's non-stop. And, I don't know. It feels one-sided is the way I put it. It's yeah, Drew beats him up, but they're wrestlers. That's what they do. And you can say, oh, but he injured him. And it's yeah, but I guess I'll put it this way. McIntyre doesn't have the opportunity to ruin any matches or do anything to CM Punk besides beat him up because he's injured. And it really just comes off as Drew McIntyre beats a guy up and gets massive opportunities absolutely squashed in return constantly. It doesn't feel equal. I want Drew to win. I hope Drew will win. I don't know. Seth Rollins has perfectly good reasons to hate both of them. Maybe McIntyre more. I don't know. I don't even know how he'll factor into this, and it'll probably be the finish, but I honestly don't know how this one ends. This one's really unpredictable. I'm putting my money on McIntyre, but it's close. I think it'll be good either way. I hope CM Punk is back up to form. I mean, he looks good. It looks like he's been hitting the gym, recovering. Hopefully he's good in the ring. He definitely, in my opinion, needs juice right now. Him being on the sidelines and constantly attacking Drew McIntyre, I don't know. They either need to turn him heel, heel. I know he's that sort of, almost old Steve Austin. He's a face and everyone likes him even though he's going around and causing havoc, right? But I don't know. I think he needs some juice. Yeah, this should be a good match. And I believe that is every match for SummerSlam. I don't have much else to say. Where are the tag team titles? It's the second biggest pay-per-view of the year, and not a single one of the 3 tag team titles is being represented? That's odd to me. I think it definitely shows that WWE really needs to work on their tag team division. And I don't know what else to say about that. Especially the women. God, oh, the women's tag team division is so sad. I've been disappointed in the tag team division this entire year, and it's not. And don't get me wrong, it's not that they're bad wrestlers in the tag team division. I like a bunch of the women's tag teams. I just felt the booking has been bad. It feels like they have like 4 tag teams on both SmackDown and Raw combined, and that's not good. Like, I don't know. They need to do a better job with those tag teams. That's all I can say about that. But yeah, this ought to be a good pay-per-view. I'm excited to see what happens, and hopefully we can talk again after it's over. But until then, I will see you all later. Enjoy SummerSlam.